What's crack-lacking, everyone? Luxens here, and today I am here for my CGT draft analysis. CGT is a league created by Aquarius, and I think the admins are like Jack and Dr. Slacking, I want to say? Maybe. I would look that up right now, but no, I'm gonna look it up on my phone because I do want to shout out the right people, obviously. Alright, well, shit doesn't want to load on my phone. Anyhow, CGT stands for the Champions Galar League, and as I say that, Champions Galar Tournament, my apology. As I say that, it loads, so I was correct. Matt, Dr. Slacking, Aquarius, and Jack slash Gray, my good pal, host this league for us, and this league aims to be one of the most competitive Wi-Fi leagues of this generation. Now, Jack asked me to compete in this, seeing as even though I don't really have like a lot of Wi-Fi street cred, I guess, so to say, what I do have is a lot of showdown trophies. So he figured it would be interesting to throw me in there because I've been playing a bit more Wi-Fi towards the end of the generation because I've been missing it. I've been missing it from Gen 7. But anyhow, we have a very strong roster. From what I know, obviously Aquarius, Jack, and Dr. Slacking are playing themselves. We have Galar, Goldoa, just Lucas, Vepsis, Wolf or Wolf. Is Q playing? No. I was about to say, I don't think Q's playing. Anyhow, Madashea, Sally Mumble, Shuckle King, 6 Foot Axe, Sventoon, bunch of great people, bunch of very strong players as well. So definitely be interesting. But about the draft, we had 14 people and it was a snake draft. So we went from 1 to 14 and back from 14 to 1. And I was pick 14. Now, if you know me, I don't like late draft picks. So, this is not ideal for me, really. So, I saw all the mons that I like really wanted. I saw them disappear, and then it got to 14th, and I was like, alright, you know what? If I can't get what I truly want, let's just go with the tried and true, the Celesteela. Now, Celesteela, especially in Gen 7, was pretty much a staple on like half of my teams. I would draft this mon like religiously. And even now, it is still amazing. You got the setup sets with Autotomize, you got Meteor Beam, you can run AV, you got Subseed, you got so many things that you can do with this mon. Its coverage is cracked. Its stats are so incredibly balanced and has an amazing typing of Steel and Flying, which does immediately start a Fairy Dragon Steel Core. However, honestly, the more I play Draft League, the less I start caring about certain types, because there's just not a necessity to them for me anymore. Because in the beginning, when you start drafting, I feel these types can be useful as guidelines. For example, dragon types I feel really fell off, and except unless you're getting like a strong dragon, I don't think it's worth it most of the time. But that's just a quick little side rant. So we got Celesteela, and since I'm 14th, I get to pick 2 Pokemon every time I pick. So I decided to go with Tapu Lele, seeing as I figured, I have Celesteela. I would probably like something that is like a strong breaker that can kind of complement with Celesteela. So I figured Tapu Lele would be the best option for that. Now, I can't particularly switch into Ghost moves in my Celesteela, obviously, but the Steel and Poison moves that do threaten Lele are something that Celesteela can switch into. Something else that Lele obviously provides is the psychic terrain. And let me talk about Lele. I should probably switch to that. Now the thing I like about Lele is it's just really strong. It's hard. Um, Psychic Moonblast has amazing coverage. Psychic really only doesn't want to fucking get Dark and Steel types, right? And other psychics. Which Moonblast covers two of those types pretty well, I'd say. The only thing it doesn't really cover is Steel types, but you get Focus Blast, and I do have my following picks to try and mitigate that as well. But I just really like Lele here just as a very strong, dedicated defensive mod, because Celesteela can do everything, but you can't just have a team of a jack of all trades mons. You need some masters of skills, so I decided to go with Lele. Now, after this, obviously, it goes back to me, and I decide to pick up Terrakion and Spectrier on my next wheel picks. Now, Terrakion was really nice here because Terrakion helps Spectrier a lot by taking care of those dark types that want to switch in to the ghost type attacks. And it also goes for the, what's it called? The normal types. So, I decided Terrakion would be a really nice fit here. It also provides a really great dark type switch in, as Justified obviously boosts my attack if I get hit by a dark type move. So something like a knock onto Spectre could lead into a attack boost for my Terrakion, which is not generally what you want when you're facing down a Terrakion. So as I said, Terrakion felt really nice, and something that Terrakion also provides me is a stealth rocker. So, personally, I think in this generation, it's okay to have a good few hazard setters, but you can like kind of forget about defog or rapid spin for a little bit because you can patch everything with boots. Boots is a broken item anyway. However, Terrakion is also very strong in taking out steel types that Lele struggles with. And if there's any type that Celesteela struggles with, it's probably electric, which I will get to later, because a Terrakion can kill them pretty easily with like a mana TC, but it's not like what the typing here is for. But Terrakion is like the opposite of Lele. It's a very strong physical breaker that takes very strong physically offensive types and absolutely pummels whatever comes in its path. So having that with Lele is a very nice contrast. Now after that, I decided to go with Ghost Horsey. Now I haven't used Ghost Horsey a lot this generation, but I felt that it would be a good fit for this team because with Lele, with Terrakion, I have good ways to kill dark types, and then normal types should also be pretty. I should be able to deal with normal types rather to a good extent, just due to the amount of offensive pressure and such that I do have. Now, Spectre has the very nice speed tier of 130, and that is amazing. Personally, I really care about my speed tiers. I like having something that is like in between 100 and like 115 at least, and having something that is above that. So Terrakion fits that bill of between 100 and 115. Lele fits the around 90, 100-ish. Spectre fits at above 115. Now Spectre, if it gets going, this mod's stupid. Like, you can say what you want about it being one-dimensional, about it being, about it being easily wallable. It's not like Regieleki, where this mon doesn't get anything. it still does get Dark Pulse, it still does get Uproar, it still does get Disable, Willow, and all this other utility that this mon can abuse. Which, I don't think Aleki is awful, and I'm gonna go on a side tangent again because I like doing that. I don't think Aleki is awful, like a lot of people. But I do think that a lot of the time it will be a bit of a sitting, or not a lot of the time. It will be a sitting duck for a good part of your games, probably. Which I think is not great. Like, obviously it does have its positives, but I feel like negatives slightly outweigh the positives. But anyhow, Spectre is just really nice here as well, because it helps me with killing psychic type Pokemon, which is really nice here due to the fact. Hold on, someone was walking upstairs. I'm gonna close my door real quick. Killing psychic type Pokemon is very nice for my Terrakion, so I don't have to land Mega Horns or anything like that. And obviously, it's a really fast ghost, so it can kill ghost types because it can outrun most of them, which is also pretty nice. Now, that's enough about Spectre. Next up, I actually consulted one of the other coaches for some help with my draft because I didn't really know where I wanted to take the rest of this build. So I ended up talking with Shuckle King, who definitely check him out in the description below because he makes probably some of the best Draft League content in the scene right now. So please go check him out. Do go check him out, I mean. So I consulted with him and we talked a bit and I was like, there's a few things that I want. I want some pivoting options. I want some I want a little bit of removal because I don't want to just have none, because that just invites in hazards, you know, stuff like that. So he suggested to me, well, why don't you pick up Savali? Now, Savali is a very nice Pokemon because that's two ways to pivot with U-turn and Parting Shot. I can make it any type, obviously. It gets Defog, it gets a ton of coverage. I can make it offensive. I can kind of do whatever with it. That speaking is difficult. I can kind of do whatever with it that I want. So I really like that. I was like, yeah, Savali fits here nicely. It doesn't really hurt me in any way. I can do whatever I want with it, as I said. So I figured that would be a good pickup. Now, the other Pokemon that he suggested for me was Incineroar. I think we bounced back between a few dark types like Drapion, stuff like that. But in the end, I think I settled on Incineroar simply because it's a dark type that actually likes switching in on repeated hits. My problem with Drapion is that it's not bulky enough. It feels most of the time. It feels like you need to invest so much with a Drapion to try and get it to not take too much damage. You need to put an AV on it, stuff like that. But with Incineroar, it's like, you have Intimidate already. You have this great fucking stat line of 95, 90, 90. It gets Fake Out, it gets Knock, it gets Parting Shot, it gets every move under the sun. I actually really like that about this mod. Obviously, in this gen, it is a bit more of a heavy-duty boots spammer than in past generations, but it's still really good with the amount of utility it gets. So this felt like a really nice slower pivot, with Savali being a bit of a faster one. Both of them get a Parting Shot, which is actually really nice because I think that's the best fucking pivoting move in the game. But Incineroar fit really nicely as well due to, again, being able to switch in on the steel types that threaten Lele, being able to switch in on the ghost types that threaten Lele and Spectre, being able to switch in on the dark types that threaten Spectre, being able to switch in on the fire types that threaten Stella Stela. And then we have Terrakion as well, being able to or Celesteela being able to switch in for Terrakion for the ground type as well, for example. So currently this team feels really synergetic to me, which I really like. So, and Savali can obviously patch the rest of those holes. So, from there, I went to Piloswine. Again, I've been talking with Choco King, and I was debating between Piloswine and Mudstone. I didn't really know which one I liked more. He said, I think both will be fine here, along the lines of, rather. And I ended up going with Piloswine. For a simple reason that I felt like I lacked a bit of priority. Like, obviously, I did have Fake Out on Incineroar, I did have Quick Attack on my Terrakion, but I didn't really have much in terms of, like, Extreme Speeds, Aqua Jets, etc. So I figured, you know what, the priority on Piloswine to revenge kill stuff like Landorus, I think that could be very nice. So, I ended up going with Piloswine. Piloswine's obviously in incredible low tier, very reliable rocker, and it kind of wall like everything. Eviolite is so good for this mon, it is actually insane. My apologies, I yawned for a second. But as I said, Piloswine is just, it's just really bulky. It's definitely a very nice pair with Steela, as it can switch in on the fire moves, on the electric moves that threaten Steela. Steela can obviously kind of switch in on the water moves a little bit, but I do have my next Pokemon for that. And the grass moves, it can definitely switch in on. The only thing that I kind of lack is like a good fighting resist, I'd say, because I have Layla and I have Spectre, but both of those are obviously offensive mons, but you will see that in a bit. Now next up is Milotic. I was lacking the water type at this point, and I felt like Milotic would be a perfect fit here. Milotic is obviously a very bulky Pokemon, however, it is also a relatively strong with base 100 special attack, and it gets a new move this generation in Flip Turn, and I think that is what sold me on Milotic over Suicune, as I felt like that extra bit of defensive pivoting could really be useful for me for this league, and for this draft specifically. Now Milotic obviously can switch into this Flamethrowers, can switch into those Scalds for Piloswine, and it has the beautiful ability Marvel Skill, which really allows me to help check like bulky fighting or like strong fighting types with the Marvel Skill ability and like max defense, to make sure that I don't take too much damage. Now, at this point, my draft is already pretty formed. These picks are more so complementary to these last like 4 picks. I mean, are more so complementary to what I already had, and there wasn't really oh, I really wanted this bomb for this and this and this reason. You know, it's like, oh, this one fits, so I picked it. That's why my explanations have become a little bit shorter. However, for his next Pokemon, this is the boy. This is Beep Beep. This is the bus. This is Charjabug. This is my favorite boy. The Giratina Slayer. Everything I can name for this boy. Charjabug, he's my homie. He helps me out when there's a terrain on my screen and I need it gone. When there's Infernape threatening me and I need it to be removed from the game. When there's a Deoxyspeed staring me down, Charjabug comes saving me. When there's a Giratina Origin trying to eat my face, Charjabug charges head in and absolutely shatters the Giratina. Anyhow, what does Charjabug actually do? Now, I like to run Bandit on this guy because he has more attack than a Talonflame, and I think that's funny. However, it also does give me a Sticky Web Setter, which I feel like could be of use in this league, simply to force stuff like Defog, stuff like that, to give me free turns. Now, this is my boy. He is a slow pivot as well with full switch, but he won't be coming to a lot of matches because he doesn't need to. He only comes when he's needed. That is the story of the Charjabug. Now next up we have Togetic, because there was a few Pokemon that I figured that. So what I did is I looked at the draft board. I went, alright, which of these Pokemon do I not deal with? And I was like, alright, I don't deal with that one well, I don't deal with that one well. What deals with this well? Like a low tier fairy. Alright, I'll pick Togetic, and that is the reason why I picked Togetic. There's no big, oh yeah, it has something that I really want. No. I just looked at the draft board. I was like, oh, herder, I don't switch well into Urshifu, heh. And then I picked Togetic. So that is why I picked Togetic. Week 1 we actually fight the man himself, Vepsis, and I'm a little terrified because I have never played Vepsis, and I've never really, outside of obviously his videos, I've never really seen him play. Like to me, there's a difference between watching a recording of someone commentating and watching like a showdown replay of them playing. You know, I feel like it's much easier for me to see in the latter, like the play style of someone. So I am a little terrified, but I think it will be a good game. And I play it actually later today, if all is said and done, I think. So this was my draft analysis for the Champions Galar tournament trophy. I don't actually remember, and I feel bad now because I should remember. Champions of Galar tournament, right? Please spell. Yeah, Champions of Galar tournament. I was right the first time. This is my draft analysis for that, for the CGT. I will see you guys in week 1 where we face off against Vepsis. Peace out.